So let us try to understand the C program basic compilation cycle. It is not only about the program compilation, it is also about execution. I can call it as C program compilation and execution. So here in this specific topic we will try to understand how exactly a program will be written, or where exactly the program will be written, and how exactly the program will be compiled and then executed. So how users will be getting the output and how user can able to get the output in the output window, that we will try to understand in this tutorial. So let us start with basic C program. Let us say my requirement is, now I wanted to create a basic C program which can able to display the output as hello. Now in order to write the C program, let us assume say I have used either Turbo C environment or it can be Borderland C environment. Let us say I choose Turbo C. Now after installation of Turbo C environment, you should start typing your C language code, which looks approximately something like this. #include stdio.h #include conio.h, and usually we will be writing void main, and then you will be writing printf hello, and if you want you can write scanf statement also, so that the console will wait for your instruction. Otherwise, if you are not writing scanf, usually the console window will be closed and you cannot be able to observe the output. I have written click OK to terminate program, something like this, and ending of the main method. So once you start writing the code in Turbo C environment, usually the first question here is where exactly your program will be stored. So once you start typing the code and once you save your program, usually your program will be stored in something called as hard disk. I'll call it as HD. So hard disk. So how I am saying that the program will be initially stored in the hard disk only, because when you start writing the code in Turbo C environment, it will ask you for the file into which the program must be stored. Usually we will be choosing C drive, maybe ABC folder or BBC folder, whatever it is. So C drive, let us say C drive, let us say your name is Rajiv, maybe in your Rajiv folder you will be storing this C program file with the extension .c. Let us say I have given the program file name as test.c. So what I mean to say here is, usually your program will be stored inside the hard disk memory. Now the next question here is, so how exactly this program will be compiled and executed? In general, the human beings will usually trust the computers, but computers will not trust the human beings. Now, for this reason, first of all, this program which is written by the human being, so usually you will be writing some code in Turbo C environment in C language. But in order to execute this program, first of all, the program will not, or the computer will not trust you. So this is where the C language compiler is coming into picture. So once you install Turbo C environment, automatically you will get C compiler, which is a software. Now the purpose of this C compiler is it has to verify the code which is written by the programmer, right? So that is what is the use of C compiler. Now the problem with the C compiler is an high speed software which can able to read the instructions at a very faster rate. But hard disk is designed in such a way that it cannot be able to transfer the data at a very faster rate to the C compiler, right? So there is a speed mismatch here. So because of this speed mismatch only, now the RAM is coming into picture, or the computer manufacturers will be giving two electronic devices, one with the name hard disk and second one with the name RAM. So every computer will be having definitely a RAM memory. Now the basic difference between the RAM memory and hard disk memory is RAM is an high speed electronic device, whereas the hard disk is a slow speed electronic device, so which cannot be able to transfer the data at a very faster rate. Now by using some mechanism, so if you can able to send the code which is present in the test.c file which is stored in the hard disk memory into RAM memory, now RAM memory can able to comfortably send the C language code into the C compiler at a faster rate. So this is where the operating system is coming into picture. So operating system will seamlessly copy the data present in hard disk memory into the data present in hard disk memory into RAM memory. So usually RAM got something called as buffer, which is a logical storage location. So now the operating system will copy this entire code into the RAM's buffer memory. So your test.c file code will come into RAM's buffer memory. So after this, operating system will give instruction to the C compiler. Now C compiler will start reading the code present in the test.c file which is stored in the RAM's buffer memory, and it will start compiling the code. So what is the code present over here? The same code whatever I have written here in the turbo C environment, the same code is present in the computer's RAM memory. Now, so once the C compiler start reading this code, it will try to understand whether the programmer has used whether the programmer has written the C program as per the C language syntax rules or not. So what are the C language syntax rules? So as per C language syntax rules, when you are writing a method, every method must contain something called as return type, and every method must contain some name. In this case it is main, and every method must have something called as parenthesis, and every method must start with curly bracket, and every method must end with the curly bracket. And apart from this, every statement in C language must have the ending statement, or must be terminated with semicolon, right? Or every statement must end with semicolon. So these are the basic C language rules. Now the C compiler, after verifying whether this code is following the C language syntax rules or not, if the programmer's written code is following all the C language rules properly, then your C language program will be converted into something called as machine level language instructions. So what is this machine level language instructions means? So machine level language is the language which consists of series of zeros and ones, something like this, right? So after converting your C language program into the machine level language instructions, then your code, machine level code, in fact even this machine level code which is generated by the C compiler is also temporarily stored into the RAM memory, and that code will be, the machine level language code will be internally sent back to something called as processor. Some people will call this processor as CPU also, central processing unit, whatever it is. So the processor or CPU is basically an electronic device which is having many internal or embedded electronic devices like registers and many other things will be present, right? So anyhow, we no need to bother about what are all the components present inside the processor CPU. Now when the machine level language instructions are sent to the processor, processor will start executing this machine level language instructions and finally it will produce the output. Now the question here is, in which language the output is produced? Again, the processor will produce the output in machine level language only. That is in the form of zeros and ones. Now what is the next step? So do you think that this the human beings can able to usually understand this machine level language instructions? Obviously no. Only electronics engineers may be able to understand the machine level instructions, but the normal beings, say normal human beings like you and me, cannot be able to understand the machine level language output. So this is where the monitor is usually coming into picture. Monitor. Now the purpose of the monitor is, so usually the output which is generated by the processor which is present in the machine level language format will be usually sent to the monitor. And again, monitor is a combination of lot of electronic devices. It is basically an electronic device only. Now this electronic device knows how to convert the machine level language output into English language format, right? Or in the human readable output. So this is where when this output is sent to the monitor, monitor will convert this output, the machine level output, into English language format. So this is how the C language program will be usually compiled and then executed. So now you will get a question here. So how exactly we need to compile, or what is the option we need to use in Turbo C in order to compile your program? So the answer is, you can use Alt F9, and similar way in order to run the program you can use Control F9 keys in the Turbo C environment. Anyhow, these hotkeys depends on the different softwares. If you use Borland C as a software for writing the C language program, you may be using other option. But in case of Turbo C, you can use Alt F9 and then Control F9, right? So this is how the program will be compiled and then executed. Now the more important point here is, or the important point in this compilation and execution is, you remember always your program will be executed finally by the processor, and processor is the one which is going to produce the output. Processor is the one which is going to produce the output. And anyhow, that output which is produced by the processor will be finally converted into usually English language format or human readable English, the human readable format by the monitor only. Once the output is sent to the monitor, then the machine level language instructions will be converted into something called as the human readable instructions. Okay.